Hello everyone, it is Carson here, and today I've got a very special video, and this is Hot Wheels related. So, recently I've been watching the Acceleracers movies, and it kind of made me think, should I show my Acceleracers models to everyone? Well, I think it should be a good idea to do that, which is what sparked the idea for this video, because I've been watching the Acceleracers movies recently, and the Acceleracers, I watched them for the first time when I was 6, I believe. Or maybe even 5. I could be wrong, but I know they came around like 2004, 2005, 2006. So let's go ahead and check out the Acceleracers cars that I have, and I have a lot of them. So I hope this video doesn't become boring or anything like that. But I'm gonna start off with the miscellaneous series. So the series that came out after like the main cars came out, which were like the Accelercharged, Acceleron. The Team Colors and Realm series, those were pretty much the ones that that I believe came after the main Acceleracers models. So let's check them out. So first off, I have this one was in Hot Wheels Beat That. It is the Accelercharged Battle Spec. It's in green. It's in clear green. And it looks really, really cool. I don't have the original Battle Spec, but right now this car looks really amazing. I really like this one a lot better than the blue version, but I just want to get the blue version. I'm currently looking for the blue version right now. Next up we have and by the way, Battle Spec was driven by Kurt Wilde, who also drove the Slingshot in World Race. That's a topic for another video. Our next car is driven by Kurt's rival, or his brother I should say, and it is the Acceleron series Spinebuster. This one was also in Hot Wheels Beat That. Race Grooves, shout out to you. This is probably Race Grooves' favorite fantasy model, probably even the favorite Acceleracers model. I really like the Spinebuster. It's an awesome casting, and it's a pretty good track car too. So yes, this is Spinebuster. We have the Realm Series RD06. Here it is. And just a disclaimer for all these guys, a lot of them are beaten up. Some of them have bent axles because I played with them when I was little. I always used to do the I always like to reenact the movies with the cars. I was thinking, I've been talking to my parents recently about maybe recreating the Acceleracers movies with all the Acceleracers models, except for the side series. Well, unless the Accelercharge. I think the Accelercharge series count. Next up we have an Acceleron series car. It is the Cove Light, and this was also in Hot Wheels Beat That. Some of them were in Hot Wheels Beat That. So yeah, this is Cove Light, and it looks like an awesome model. It's got a little bit of a crease right here, which is not supposed to have that, but it came like this, so there's nothing I can really do about it. Next up is the Acceleron series Hollowback. And this one also looks good. It's got the Acceleron's hieroglyphics. One of them is the Pipeline Realm, and I know most of the symbols. Some of them were not given out. Next up, we have the Realm series Jackhammer, and this was in Hot Wheels Beat That. This represents the Water Realm. The RD06 represents the Storm Realm, or I think maybe even the drone city, probably that, but this one represents the Water Realm because Porkchop, who is the driver of Jackhammer before he got Pile Driver, submerged his car and it got eaten up by a fish. So, yeah, that was the horrible, horrible fate of Jackhammer. Next up, we have the Team Colors RD09, and this is the villain's vehicle. It was driven by the main antagonist of Acceleracers, Galorum. I do have the original one, which I'll show you in a little bit. And the last miscellaneous car I have is the RD05, and this represents the Swamp Realm. For some reason, this car was not in the Swamp Realm. It was RD08, but this one represents the Swamp Realm. I can tell because of the gunk on the sides. It's supposed to be swamp goo. Alright, now let's get into the basic series. Now, I'm going to start off with the silencers, the elusive silencers, just so I can get those out of the way. So first off, I have Iridium. And this one looks really cool. They changed this one. I'll do a casting change video on this one. Next up, this is a car that I'm surprised not a lot of people really talk about it, but I've been seeing it and show up, and I think its most recent release was like the 2018 mystery models. It is Carbide, and this one was not in any of the movies, which I was pretty surprised they did that. But the Carbide is probably, I don't know, this one could be my favorite silencers model. I just love Formula cars. And most of the silencer cars were driven by just the silencers. We didn't really get their names or anything. But this one was driven by Dr. Tesla, and it is Nitrium. And I got this one from a cousin of mine. And he had this, well, basically, one of my cousins had it, and then it got passed over to my youngest cousin. And then he eventually gave it to me. Next up, this one I showed you before. It was Cove Light again. This is the Acceleracers version. And as you can tell, it's been scratched, beaten up. That was because I played with them. I got them around when they first came out, so yeah, that's why they're gonna look pretty beaten up. Next up, and this is the last silencer car. It is Octanium. And this one was also not in any of the movies. But this one I commonly see as like a playset car, but now I haven't really seen it recently. So I don't know what happened to this one. Next up, we have the racing drones. Now I'm going to go ahead and start off with, I'm just going to go in numerical order. So I have RD01. Here he is. It looks like the Slam Ram Hyperpod. And speaking of the racing drones, I do not have any of the Hyperpods or the drone sweeper, but I really, really want the drone sweeper because I saw Race Group's review on it and it looks stunning. I mean, I love the sweeper. It's a very menacing vehicle, and it's a vacuum, so I can just pick up the cars at ease. But this is not about the sweeper. This is about the Acceleracers models. We have RD02. Here he is. And this one also looks awesome. I love the black and lime on this one. The black and lime on almost all these models. Here is RD03. I have the black version. I do not have the gray version. There's a gray version of this one. Next up, we have a variant. This is two variants. This is RD06. And here's the other one. Both of them, they have different size wheels. The matte version has smaller wheels, and the bottom one, which is glossy, has larger wheels. So that's RD06. Now, this is the one that I talked about earlier in the video, Galorum. This is RD09. And this one was, I remember seeing this one in the Ultimate Race, and this one was, man, Galorum is a character you don't want to mess with. And then here is the last racing drone. It is RD10. This one also looks awesome, and it kind of looks a bit like the Slam Ram Hyperpod. And like I said, I don't have the Slam Ram Hyperpod, but I really want it, and the drone sweeper. Next up is the Metal Maniacs, and here's another wheel variant car. And this one, I'm surprised this one hasn't been released by Mattel that much, but I really want to see this casting again. The Rolling Thunder, it was driven by Mitch Monkey McClurg, or Mitchell McClurg, but he goes by Monkey in the movies. So this is Rolling Thunder, and here's the other version that I have. The red's a bit darker, and it's got the CM6 wheels, which means chrome mold wheels. This is what all the Acceleracers had. There's also, a little unrelated to this casting, but RD06 had a 10-spoke. The RD06, in case you don't know, this one, it had a 5-spoke variation. I haven't seen that one yet. And there was like a box error where it had RD10. This was by, sorry about that, I had a hiccup, by Hot Wheels 442. He pointed this one out. And the next Metal Maniacs car, this is my most, probably, this could be my most recent one. It is Taro Catano's Riveted. And this is the 5-spoke version. I do not have the 6-spoke version. And I love the orange on this one. I had the Track Aces version of this one where it was orange, but the wing kind of broke apart a little. It's still kind of attached, but it's, like a part of a segment broke off. Next up, and this is the one that was in the water realm, and I mentioned this one earlier in the video, Jackhammer, and there is no 5-spoke variant of this one. It's just 6 spokes. So, I don't know why they did that, but most of them have the 5 spokes. But this one is one of only a few that doesn't have the 5-spoke variant. And I love the gold on this one, the metal flake gold. This one looks really good. It reminds me of the 57 Chevy, the Jackhammer. Next up is Powerbomb, and this one also has a 5-spoke variation, but I only got the 6-spoke variation. It's a very interesting looking model. It's kind of outlandish for accelerators. This one was not in any of the movies for some reason. If I ever get to like a point, if I ever recreate the accelerators movies, this is going to be what will be used in the Byline realm instead of the bikes. Same with another car you're going to see later on in the video. Here's another, and this is probably the last Hot Wheels Beat That car that you're going to see in this video. It is Hollowback. Here he is. I got the satin red version, and this one also has a 5-spoke variant, but I got this one instead. And another 5-spoke variant casting, and this one was also driven by Monkey. This one was ratified. I don't see this one very often. Its most recent release was like 2014 or 2013, which was in the Chrome series. But I really like the ratified. It looks a very cool casting. Oh, and for those of you who don't know who the driver of Hollowback is, it's Torquematics, who is the leader of the Metal Maniacs. And last but not least, I want to finish off with my favorite series, Teku. These are all Japanese-inspired cars, so they're inspired off of Japanese cars. Now, this is where I played with most of the Acceleracers. So the first one, this one was driven by Vert Wheeler. It is the Power Rage. And as you can probably tell, it's really, really beaten up. But I still love this car, even after getting all beaten up and stuff like that. And it's got a red mark right near where the wing is, but I don't know where that came from. So that is Power Rage. And next up is Nolo. This one is Nolo's signature car, the Synchro. There's an orange wing version of this one, but I only got the black wing instead. It still looks good regardless. I love the dragon on the side of this one. Looks awesome. Definitely looks like a real Japanese racing car that you would see on the streets. This one looks super cool. Next up, this one was driven by Nolo, but for just like a brief period of time and speed of silence. But it is the High Voltage. I have a couple versions of this one, and it's pretty good casting. I really like this one, the High Voltage. I'm surprised it didn't get a whole lot of love in the Acceleracers movies. It was only featured for like a brief amount of time, and then eventually Nolo crashed it, and while he was using the Swamp Accelercharger, and pretty much that was all that this car was featured for. But I love the flames, I love the color combo. And here is one that was not in any of the movies, Drift Tech, and there's also a blue wing variation and a 5-spoke variation of this one. This one looks a little basic, but hey, it's pretty cool. And last but not least, and this one I'm saving the best for last, and this is one of my favorite Hot Wheels cars of all time. And yes, I played with this one, and this car is really, really rare. And I'm super happy I found this one. A little bit of a story behind this one. So my dad, he went over to California, and that was where I got most of the Acceleracers. He got most of them, and he brought them back for me for my birthday when I was around maybe 5, 6, or 7. I'm not really sure. But this car, I saw the 4th movie first, so I was kind of spoiled from the get-go. So I kind of watched the movies backwards. But this car was literally one of the best cars I've ever seen in Acceleracers, and I'm super happy to say that it is the one and the only Reverb. And yes, I have Reverb. and this is one of the best Hot Wheels cars I've ever seen. And yes, it's beaten up a little because I played with it a lot. And I remember watching the movie for the first time and just watching in astonishment when Vert is racing against Galorum, and then they go into the portal, and when Vert beats his car up against Galorum, Galorum goes flying, and all that. I don't want to spoil too much of it if you haven't seen Acceleracers, but this is I thought the fourth movie was the best one out of all of them because I saw, well, A, because I saw it first, and B, because, hey, I mean, they got Vert the shining time that he deserved after what he went through in the past few movies. But yeah, I'm very, very happy that I got the Reverb. And by the way, I don't have all the Acceleracers models, but this one I'm super happy to have. Still looking for a couple Acceleracers models, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoy this video of my Hot Wheels Acceleracers models. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoy this monster of a video, and a special one at that. Anyways, take care, everyone, and peace out.